So the way I aim to make espresso is usually first warm up the portafilter and get 18 usually fits in this one or the stock one that came with it. This one is a little bit larger. Could go a little bit higher as well. I weigh weighing the coffee ahead of time helps in that then you don't have to weigh the ground coffee. You just let it grind all the coffee that is in the hopper and know what's been ground. And then the reason to weigh it is to know how much coffee is supposed to come out. So 18, the internet says 1 to 1 to 1 to 2 is too little. 1 to 2, 1 to 3. I mean, so if it's 18 grams, so if I get between 18 and 36 grams output, that's not enough. Between 36 and, or what was it? I'm getting confused now. Yeah, less than 36 is not enough, and more than 3 times 18, 48. More than 48 is too much. I also break it down with this tool, the needle tool, but I don't know if it really makes much of a difference. It's nice for the process. That was just about all of it. Yep. And then we tap it. Looks like this. And I've also noticed that the preset buttons that are supposed to calibrate how much water it pushes through, they seem to be very inconsistent. Sometimes it would be more yield in the end, sometimes less, sometimes it would be more time that it would take, sometimes less. So I just use the calibration every time. So let me get this closer. So first I put it on a scale, and then when the calibration might be different for different machines, but in this one you go like this, and then you hold the button to pre-infuse, to put a little bit of water in to wet the grounds, and then you release it to start pushing the water down the portafilter. and then you press it again to stop it. So I'm going to keep an eye on the scale. I'll pre-infuse it and then let go, and then keep an eye on the scale until it reaches about 32 or 33 grams, and then I'll press it again to get to about 36 grams, or a little bit over that, to stop. And then at that moment we'll also see what the time is. Actually, this might have a time function. No, this doesn't have a timer function, but there's a timer on this when I actually press it. And I will aim the camera up at the portafiller to see what the flow looks like. Like this. There. So I usually wait for little droplets to appear at the bottom, like right now, and then I let go. And this seems a little bit slow and like drippy. Great, and it took, I'm not sure actually, I'll look at the video to look what the flow looked like, because the time it took was about 30 seconds, which is about right, and the output is 38 grams, which is about right as well. Doesn't seem to be a ton of crema on top, so I don't know, maybe didn't work out quite well. I'm going to taste it and then refer to the chart to try to identify whether it was. Oh, also one more thing. Apparently you're supposed to always mix it up before tasting it. So. Yeah, that tastes way bitter. Way bitter means it is over extracted. And that means we either want a coarser grind, or a coarser grind will also make it flow faster, which is kind of what we want. And also the temperature might need to go down. With the extraction and temperature effect of the extraction, I remembered it by, so yeah, this one I'm going to dump out. Temperature and the effect of temperature on extraction, I remembered by thinking of temperature going into the beans when they're getting roasted. So if the roast is darker, that means more temperature went in already. So on the extraction, you might need less temperature. And vice versa, if it is a lighter roast, it hasn't had as much heat applied to it. So when actually brewing it, you might want to add more temperature. It's probably not how it works, but it seems to make sense, and it aligns with what the recommendations are for the temperature effects. What was I doing? Yes. Let's look at this one. It's a little wet, but generally okay. Didn't come out very cleanly either. Just to wash the top part of that and run it through again. One thing that was a little bit of a learning experience for me was letting go of trying to conserve coffee. Okay, let's make it one notch. I should really change just one thing at a time, but I'll change both. I'll make it a little bit by one notch colder and by one notch coarser ground. But yes, on the topic of wasting coffee, when I just started using this machine, I would drink anything that came out of it, thinking like, okay, on the next try, I will change something. And then it would be day after day of horrible coffee. But a shot's worth of coffee beans, depending on where you get them, is maybe $1 or $2 at most. I don't know. The ones that I get are not more than that. So it stands to reason to prioritize having a good experience, and also the playfulness of the process of trying to dial it in over not wasting a couple of dollars worth of coffee. Right, so this is there. This needs to be here. And put it back. Definitely much faster flow this time. But more like watery, looks like. Yeah. That was not very good either. That was the opposite. Or maybe not quite the opposite. Last time the speed was okay actually, so maybe I shouldn't have changed the grind size. But the temperature, but the extraction was too much because it turned out to be bitter. So maybe I should go back on the grind size to what it was, 14, and try again, just the temperature change. Tastes kind of alright though. I don't know what if it looks the way it should. I guess it doesn't have enough crema for a good looking espresso, but it tastes alright, so I'll just drink this one. And tomorrow I might tomorrow I'll keep the settings the same. I just went back down on the grind size, or back up on the grind size, and the temperature change will stay for tomorrow. Let's see. It still looks kind of wet. Yeah, I suppose another takeaway is, after you try it, when you are playing with settings and stuff, you're aiming to hit some numbers, but ultimately the final judge is your taste buds. If it tastes good, who cares what it looked like or how long it took? So every time you taste it, and then but if it tastes bad, then the numbers give you a target to aim for, and then the tasting one way or another gives you a direction to try to tweak the numbers or tweak different settings, because there are so many settings. But ultimately, if it tastes good, drink that one, and then next time see if it's repeatable. If it's repeatable, just continue doing what you're doing. Why fix something that's not broken? Wash it again. Fill tank. Okay, I can do that. Give it a little bit of properly. 2 runs through the milk thing as well. If you drink it with milk. And this machine came with a container for the milk, and it has these notches. I go to the lower notch usually for when I make cortada like drinks in these little cups. Then I go by weight as well. I use milk or cream, and then I put it on a scale and try to get as much milk as, like, to have the proportion between the espresso and the milk roughly correct. So this I should actually bring the camera closer so it's useful. to see what I'm seeing. Does this work? Yeah. So first I warmed it up and it got a bunch of water out before it started giving it steam. Botched this. Usually try to get the tip of the spout there to just about the surface of the milk, so just under it, and then it ends up looking like this. And I had a thermometer I used, but then eventually started just holding on to the container with my hand, and when it gets too hot to touch or to hold on to, then that's when I call it done. And let it settle for a minute while I'm cleaning this. There we go. This one is done. It's foamy. There we go. This is sort of what it ends up looking like for me.